A lot of people don't know what closing costs are, whether it's the real estate agents, the builders, the sellers, the buyers. Even if you're a first time, second, or third time buyer, there's such a big gap in knowledge of what are closing costs when buying a home, okay? I'm gonna lay out a list of them. You got your lender fees up top. That's what the specific lender that's doing the home loan charges to do their services. That varies quite a bit, right? You could see anywhere from $700 up to $2,000, up to $3,000 just in lender fees. Then under that, you got prepaids and escrows. Those are gonna be stuff like a year of insurance, multiple months of taxes. So if the house you're picking has higher insurance or higher taxes, so let's say somebody buying a house in North Dakota versus Texas, a house on a specific purchase price is gonna vary a lot because insurance in certain states is a lot more. There is no such thing as universal closing costs. There isn't that. Even appraisal fees differ in different states. So what I wanna lay out for you is you're gonna have your lender fees up top, your escrows, which are taxes and insurance on the home, which will depend per house, right? So when it's depending on per house, you can't just say, well, closing costs on a $200,000 house is always gonna be this. It's not. So there is no rule of thumb when it comes to closing costs. There just isn't. Then below that, you got appraisal fees, you got title fees, and then you got any type of closing fees, transfer taxes, and state tax stamps on specific states that have those. So the number one thing you can always count on and you should always do is before you assume, before you write offers, before you know what your costs are, check with your lender and say, hey, I wanna buy this house at this address. What is my estimate of closing costs? Now, people usually wanna know is, what is a ballpark? Haven't I heard it's like a 3% or something? Don't be falling into that trap of a certain percentage, okay? Where some people get the 3% number in their head is certain loan programs cap sellers on being able to contribute and pay for buyers' closing costs. So for example, VA, they don't have a cap. FHA, 6% of the purchase price. Conventional, 3%. So there's a range there, but it just depends on the loan the client's doing, the state that the house is in, and then also on top of it, the insurance and taxes of the specific home. So there's a lot into these closing costs. It's not a quick, fast, hey, what are my closing costs? There's no quick, fast 5-second answer. If a lender ever gives you that, be a little leery, okay? Because people always wanna know, I don't wanna be hit with any hidden fees or any costs that come up out of nowhere, okay? That's why you doing your due diligence as a new home buyer, ask the questions up front, okay? It's part of your job in the whole deal. Knowing what they are, how much, and is this a set number? Could the number change? You gotta ask these questions, right? Because you wanna have a good experience. And closing costs are a wide range of things. Let's say you're buying a house in North Dakota, but your friend told you about when he bought a house down in Missouri. There's gonna be a huge swing in fees there, okay? Insurance and taxes alone right there. So you gotta know the differences, you gotta get the numbers quoted, and sometimes a good lender will say, will you call and get a quick insurance quote? Then I can get you a more accurate number on your closing costs. Because insurance right now is wild. It's varying no matter what company you pick, deductible, the age of the home, your credit score. Insurance companies have really changed how much they're charging in premiums. So you gotta know your numbers, but get them quoted accurately. And that's honestly the key. And if you're watching this video and you're like, wow, I didn't realize that. I thought closing costs were just a couple grand. No,